so crazy. Yesterday, I was on OkCupid. I was talking to this guy, and I saw a picture. He didn't really have any pictures up, and he was asking for pictures of me. And I'm like, what do you look like? I don't really know what you look like. And then I see him, and then I'm like, okay. And he sends me pictures, and we talk, and I'm like, okay, he seems okay. And I was saying stuff, because he was saying stuff to me, and I was like, you have a soft-spoken voice, don't you? And he's like, no. And I'm like, I like a tall guy and all this stuff. And then we talked for a while and like getting to know each other. And it was like I stayed steady on what I was saying the whole time. And he was like, basically, everything that I like, everything that I do, he's like, yeah, I don't like any of that stuff. And I'm not going to say what I do because it'll give away who I am, and I'm like a private person. But basically, I do a lot of good deeds, nice things, and people like me. And he was like, his mother was like that, a nice person who did good things and gave him a good life, even though she helped other people. And he did not like that. And it was just like this weird thing. And then in the end, he's like, oh, I gotta go, my friend called. And then I'm like, I know you're lying, I scared you off because I'm a nice person and everything and people like me. And then he was like, oh, we're too different, I think we're looking for different things. And it was like I was saying the same thing the whole time. And then after we talked some more, I'm like, what's wrong? And because it was like I gave the guy a chance, because it was like I knew he had a small dick and he had a soft voice, but I'm a good person. And it's like, if everybody gave up on guys with small dicks, then there would be no future generations of small dicks. So I was trying to be a good person. Then he was talking about like he was this dominant guy and stuff. And I don't know, like when they have small dicks and soft voices, they're like, oh, I'm a dominant man, I'm not all this. And it's like, okay. And it was like basically, because like we started talking like the day before, and it was like cool. And then we talked throughout the day while I was at work yesterday. And then I came home and I told him I'd call him, and I didn't get around to it. And then he texted me, so then I called him, and that's when we talked and everything. And then he basically admitted he was just trying to trick me into sleeping with him. Yeah, in the end, because he's like, oh, I want to get to know you, and I was telling him stuff, and it was like, sad things, guys really do try and sleep with you when you're sad, and try and make you sad to try and get you to sleep with them. And I was like, the whole time, I just want a relationship. I'm just looking for a husband. I want to get married and have a baby and have a family and maybe a homestead. And he acted like he was interested in that, and like he wanted a relationship and all this stuff. And then in the end, he's like, yeah, I was just lying. He was like, he was just lying because he wanted sex, basically. And I'm like, yeah, I don't just randomly sleep with people. And I expect someone, if they're trying to sleep with me, to commit to a relationship and all this other stuff. And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, I wasn't going to try and sleep with you on the first date. And I'm just thinking like, okay. And it's like really sad. And like the thing is, it's like, it's not that he was mean or anything. It was more of a pride thing for me, because he had a soft voice and a small dick, but I still gave him a chance. I was being like the nice, bigger person taking the higher ground. And it was like, you give these guys a chance, and it's like, you seem like you might be a nice, soft-spoken guy. Because I thought he was joking with me most of the time when he was like, oh, I'm not this and everything. Because I thought he was going to say he was like a pansexual uh sapiosexual biblio whatever person, because he gave that vibe. And it was like he was trying not to give that vibe, and I'm like, you're giving that vibe, I'm feeling that vibe from you basically the whole time. And he's like, I'm not that. And then he calls me because I'm like, I think your voice is soft, before I even heard his voice. And then he's like, no, I'm not what you think I am. And then it turns out, talk to him and everything, and he's like, everything I think he is and worse. And he basically told me his mother was a good person. And then he was like, he didn't like her because she was a good person. And I'm just like, okay. And then the whole thing with her being a good person, the way she helped support her family. And so she could be around her kids. And he was like, no, I don't like that. And he was like calling it a cop out. And it was like, it was a good paying job and she was around. But he was like weird. So basically, I wasted my time on this guy. And it was like, like the whole thing. Like with each of these guys that like try and like trick me, it's like nothing really happened. But oh, and this guy I never even met. We were just talking and on OkCupid. Then we talked on the phone. And then the funny thing he did, what they all do, he blocked me or unmatched me or whatever. And it's like, you try to trick me. And it's like, I'm not trying to be a victim, but if there was a victim, it was me, and you hurt my ego. Because it was like, I try to be the bigger person. I'm willing to date an incel if he's a nice guy. And it's like, if you have a small dick and you have a good personality and you're a nice person, and it's not like so small where it's like micro penis or whatever, I'll give you a chance. Because I don't understand guys' math when they say they measured their penis and they're like, their penis is like 6 inches. And I'm like, where did you measure behind your balls? Because that is not 6 inches. And then what really pisses them off, because it's like, I don't know how I give off hoe vibes. And it's like, I'm not showing any skin at all. And when I say I'm not showing any skin, I mean like your mother probably shows more skin than I show. And it's like, I don't know how I give off hoe vibes or whatever to guys. And it's like, I'm not showing shit. I'm not wearing tight clothes. I'm barely even showing interest. But I'm giving off all these vibes because I don't know. Especially when I was younger and I'd go out on dates with guys, and they're like, oh, you gave me a boner and you did this. And it was like, I came dressed like a nun and I sat there and did nothing. And I turn around and like your dick's out and all this weird shit. And it's like, yeah. And then like, that's like an ego. It's like an ego boost that I did that. But then it's like an ego down because it's like your dick is small. And my thing is, it's weird because I've dated guys with big penises, like nothing happened. But it was like, they were nice guys, they were funny, were friendly still. Nothing ever happened. They were just nice guys with big penises. They were like never mean to me. They never did anything. It's like when I see them, they see me, they give me a hug, they might give me a kiss on the mouth or a kiss on the cheek or the forehead or something. But it's like, we're all good. There's no bitterness, animosity, or anything. And I'm just like, and I've never really dated a short guy before. The shortest guy I've ever dated was like 5'10". And have I ever dated a guy that was 5'10" with a big dick? And I identify as a Christian and religious and all that stuff. But if I'm looking for a husband and I'm assuming what I want, I don't want to marry a guy with a small penis and be disappointed like my whole life. And like a guy that can't get it up and get it hard and shit. It's like, I'm all about abstinence, but I'm not stupid. I love the idea of abstinence. I don't like the idea of sleeping around and all that behavior. I don't like the idea of showing off your body. I don't show my arms. I rarely ever show my legs. And every now and then you might see some neck. Sometimes you see like some foot, but that's about it. And it's like on rare occasions you might even see leg or arm. Like sometimes I pull up my sleeve, but yeah, I don't wear a burqa or anything, but almost. But I don't know, like with these guys say a burqa's giving off hoe vibes. I don't know. I don't wear any revealing clothes. I wear clothes in layers. I wear layers of clothes. So it's like, and I'm not wearing tight clothes. Like, I know, like, people ask me, like, every now and then people ask me, am I, like, highly religious? And people tend to think I'm Muslim sometimes because the way I dress, because I cover up so much. And it's like, but guys are like, that's hoe, like, you're giving me hoe vibes, like, you're gonna suck some dick or something. And I'm like, what? And then if I was a hoe, and it's like, you couldn't be more respectful and think I'd be a hoe with some standards? Because it's like, you're not even like that nice of a person. You're not that good looking. But you think I'm just gonna like spread it wide open and like get on my knees and shit for you. And it's like, your dick is small. Your personality's not that great. And it's like, what the fuck? It's so crazy. I don't get why guys think this stuff. Think this stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I just want to be the person that takes the high road. And I don't know how much longer I can be that person. And I don't know. I'm just not meeting any guys with big dicks recently. Did like all the guys with big dicks get married? I don't know. And like the weird thing, I don't know if this is like some kind of like new pickup line that people are using. I think it's horrible. And like I've had some exes that I found out that were shady. One I would have never expected, but then another one, I always knew he was shady because it was like he licked my face and it was like weird. But why are exes like, oh, I want to see you get pregnant? I want to see what you look like pregnant. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean you want to see what I look like pregnant? And it was like one guy, he was like the guy where if I didn't get married by 40, it was like I would have got married to him and had a baby or whatever. But then I'm not gonna even go there with that relationship. It's like I don't even understand it, what relationship he's in. And then my other ex, it was like found out his ass was married. And that was only because I was searching Facebook to see something. Turned out his ass was married and he had a whole wife. And then I told his wife how before he married her and off and on throughout their marriage, he was talking about marrying me and having a baby. And it was like, what? And then when I found out when they got married, and then he asked me right before they got married, and he was having his doubts, and it turns out his ass is never probably having children. Yeah. So I think that's crazy. It's like, why are you telling me you want to see what I look like pregnant? And that's what this guy said to me that I just started talking to, and I didn't even know this guy like that. And he was like, I would love to see what you look like pregnant. And then he's like, he doesn't like children, and he doesn't want children. It was like, why would you tell a girl that you want a woman or whatever, you want to see what she looks like pregnant, and then tell her you don't want to have kids? So that's basically saying, I want to see what you look like pregnant, and then I'll probably dump you. Or saying, I want to see what you look like pregnant, and then I want you to have an abortion. And either way, it just sounds wrong. Because he's like, oh, if I have a kid, I'll take care of it. And it's like, you're trying to scam sex. And it's like, why would I sleep with you? I don't even know you. I believe in abstinence. And I'm just thinking, if I believe in this, and abstinence and all that stuff, and you're trying to sleep with me, you're not the one for me. Because if I believe in abstinence, I would want my kids to believe in abstinence, and you obviously don't, and you would try and teach them things that I'm against. So it's like, why would I sleep with you? And if I was planning on sleeping with somebody, I think it would be somebody that I'd want to marry if I'm all about abstinence. Yeah. It's crazy. But men really try and do that. And he's like not even the first guy. He was just a guy from like this small town, and he's like somewhere from the East Coast. And it was like, if I wanted to be a hoe, if I was gonna be a hoe and live out like hoe dreams or whatever, I'd go to New York. I'd go to the East Coast and or I'd go up to like Portland and get with like the hipsters in like Portland, Seattle area. I'd go to New York and get with like some Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and some Italian guys. And it's like, if I was going to be a hoe, then I'd go down to Florida and get like some Cubans and stuff and Dominicans. And I'm just like, if I was going to be a hoe, it's like, you know who you like, and you know where people are generally. So it's like, if I was going to be a hoe, I wouldn't be a hoe with you. And if I was going to be a hoe, I'd do it with intention, or at least have fun being a hoe. Because it's like, if you're being a hoe and you're being a hoe with somebody with a small dick, and it's like, it's almost like a lesbian relationship, how I see it. Because your dick's so small, would I even be able to fill it if I was trying to be a hoe? So I would assume it would be like a lesbian relationship. And it's like, I'm straight, and it's like, I can try and date a guy with a small dick and stuff, but I don't want to have like that disappointment. And it's like, I would date a guy if he had a small dick. If he was like a great guy who was like a humanitarian, and he was just like this really nice guy. And it's like, dick sizes and everything. It's like, I'm all about abstinence. I believe in waiting till marriage and all that. But if I get married, I do not want to wait till that day and find out like what he has, and then find out he has like a 2, 3, 4-inch penis. And then I'm like, oh shit, I got married and I waited all my life to have sex. And then I marry this guy, and then it was like, I'll never feel what sex feels like unless I leave him. And then there's all those issues, and it's like, why not just like get rid of those issues? And then at least if like you're bad, at least you have a big one. So something could happen. But if it's tiny and you can't even feel it, but I'm not saying like massive, I'm thinking like 7 to 9. And I know somebody's gonna probably be like, what the fuck are you thinking? And it's like guys that say they have 6 or more like 3 or 4. Yeah. And when I think like half a ruler. Yeah, but that's it for this video. It was just a pride thing. It was like, I was nice to you and everything. And it was like, I told you about me and like my sad stuff to this guy. And then he tells me his sad stuff. But then he still tries to sleep with me. And it was like, I knew something wasn't right. But I knew, because it's online dating. You're always trying to con, scam somebody and sleep with them. And has that worked with any of the guys that have tried? No. I'm still keeping my abstinence. Yeah. But I don't get why guys, like, they see the way I dress and everything, and then they think hoe vibes, though, and it does not make sense to me. Because I'm thinking, if you think, like, you see me and, like, you get hoe vibes, well, what kind of vibes do these guys get if, like, they went to Afghanistan and they're wearing burqas and stuff and burkinis? Is that, like, screaming thought to them? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. But if you like, watch and subscribe. I was going to do this in a live, but then I realized you guys don't watch my lives as much. You guys don't watch my videos as much, but you watch my videos more than you watch my lives, some of them. Yeah. So if you like, watch and subscribe. Bye.